She said I've been spending more time with the dog than her and that I pushed her away. She also told me if I want this to work, I have to get rid of the dog. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Wife, a 28-year-old female, gave me an ultimatum between the dog or her. Details inside. And a big shout out to Joseph for sending me the story. And guys, what we have here is a guy, he is, like he said, he is 30 years old, been married for 5 years, and his wife, after a while, started becoming very distant from him. Distant in terms of not just how she was with him, but also not being at home very often. More girls' nights out, ding, ding, ding. More late nights at the office, ding, ding, ding. So eventually he got himself a dog. This great dog that he loves so much. And as time went on, the wife still continued to be distant, not around very much, obviously not having his needs met. And he starts to confront her on it, and pretty much she decides to blame the dog, saying, I'm not paying attention to this because you're spending all the time with that dog. Even though he got the dog because she wasn't paying attention to him. And pretty much he needs to get rid of the dog. No guy in his right mind would ever give away his dog. Or if you're like me, cats. For some chick. Never. Not even, whatever. And you're going to see things are going on. There's way more going on than that. So that'll be a good one here to cover, guys. And remember, if you're a wife, you're a relationship guy, your gal suddenly being distant, your needs are not being met, she's never around, lots of girls' nights, something's going on. And you never, under any circumstances, ever give up your best friend. Your wagging tail best friend ever for any woman. Because that dog will be with you through thick and thin. And that certainly is not the case with a woman. So it starts off, he says here, hey, relationship advice. I got a problem that I never thought I would have. I've been married for 5 years, and for 4 of those past 5 years, everything was going pretty well. They usually do. About 1 year ago, my wife started getting distant. Started spending more and more time with her friends, more nights out, staying longer at work, etc. I talked to her and she said nothing was wrong and she was just getting busy with work and that she would be less busy in a few months. These are all the classic signs. The only thing he's leaving out is that her guarding her phone like crazy and the SEX slowed down, but I'm sure that's going on. I believed her and decided maybe it was time to get a dog. I was feeling lonely and I thought it would be a perfect time to get a puppy. My wife wasn't exactly supportive of this choice, but agreed. So she's never around and he wanted to get a dog. And, you know, I got to tell you something, guys. There are women out there that I've known that don't like animals, okay? And I get if maybe they're allergic. So and I wouldn't say not like them, but just don't want them because they're allergic. But ones that actually don't like them and don't understand attachments that people have to animals, well then, to me, that is a giant red flag of someone you should not be with, okay? Because who cannot love a beautiful young puppy or a great loving dog, or in my case, is a kitten or cats? Who cannot love animals? It says here, apparently it's been 10 months since then, and I've gotten pretty attached to my little guy. He bonded very well with me, but not my wife, because she was rarely at home. The dog didn't bond with your wife because also the dog could sense something about her that she doesn't like dogs or animals. He's fine with her, but she has made no effort to spend any time with him or me. I found out she's been spending a lot of time with her coworker from work, a male, and it feels like she's been having an emotional affair to me. Well, I confronted her, and she said that I've been spending more time with the dog than her, and that I pushed her away. Oh, no. She was already doing that crap beforehand, which led him to adopting the dog. And that was great that he adopted the dog. So don't twist this around and make me have to be the bad guy here. He wanted to be with her, but she's ditching him. She told me that if I wanted this to work, I have to get rid of the dog. Not a chance in hell, sweetheart. I don't think that's fair because I made an effort and she pushed me away. I love my dog, but I don't want to be divorced at 30. Every time I bring it up, she just doesn't want to discuss anything. She just says the dog goes or she goes. Well, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, sweetheart, because that dog stays. End of story. And again, who could do that? If you really love your guy, see he loves the dog that much, then you make the effort. And just the dog bonds with the guy, and then she just wants to just take him off to the animal shelter, and that's that. I mean, talk about a heartless soul. Good Lord. But there are people out there like that. Her personality completely changes when I mention it, and she barely talks to me. She didn't even put up a huge fight when I talked about getting the dog, just told me it was my responsibility and she didn't care for them. I have no kids, and if you guys need more details, just ask. But this is a throwaway, and I'm keeping certain things quiet. He says, I will have a conversation with her tonight and an update. I'm going to confront her about deflecting. So now he's going to go on to an update in a second. And I'm going to say this. If it is that bad, he doesn't want to be divorced at 30 years old. Okay, fine. Nobody wants to go through a divorce. But already, it's going to hell in a handbasket real quick. He said the first 4 years were great. And then just boom. Well, something's obviously going on. And it's at the point that she is not even, to the point that he got a dog because she wasn't around paying attention to him, which, he was used to. There's a major issue. He had a right to get the dog. I mean, now she's saying, blaming it on him. He's the bad guy, and blaming the poor dog. And pretty much me or the dog. No, it's over. She doesn't give a shit about the dog. She doesn't give a shit about him, what he wants. She's not spending time with him. You cut your losses and move on. He's 30 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him. And if he takes a hit financially, he takes a hit. He will move on and be all right. Now on to the update to see what's going on. And to no surprise, to many of you guys thinking that obviously something's going on, you're about to find out. It says here, hey guys, I'm going to give some updates on the decision. After thinking long and hard what to do in my situation, I contacted a mutual friend of ours and asked her to be honest with me. It turns out my wife started having an affair roughly 6 months ago with her coworker. There you go. He finds out from a friend of hers. That'd be nice if maybe this so-called friend would have told him earlier. My friend told me first it was mostly just emotional, them just being friends, but then it turned to a full-blown affair. This is why guys and gals shouldn't be friends. This is why if you're married, your wife should not have guy friends that she hangs out with and texts with and everything. And I get you, in today's world, you have coworkers you got to deal with and everything like that. It's one thing to deal with them, but there's another thing when it goes to a whole new level. And even then, you got to watch out. Thinking back, this makes perfect sense and matches up with the timeline of the past year. I confronted my wife about it, and at first she said I was crazy, but then she admitted she was having an affair. Of course, she lies at first and makes him out to be the bad guy here. This is the same get rid of the dog lady. More and more truth started pouring out, and she said it was she was still seeing him and sleeping with him. At this point, I got pretty upset. She asked if she should leave, and I said yes. She doesn't even apologize, and pretty much, yeah, I'm going to still see him and sleep with him. She's 28 years old. He's been married to her for 5 years, okay? So she was 23 when they got married. A kid. Yes. A lot of you guys had parents and grandparents that got married young, and it worked out. Well, that was back in the day. But nowadays, the young generation, they're in their early to mid-20s, and they still have the maturity level of a bunch of freaking junior high kids. She's a selfish a-hole. This guy, prior to her, was just that nice guy to put a ring on her finger. She could have her wedding, all that, but still have fun with her bad boys on the side. And have this guy be there to support, help pay the bills and all that. We didn't contact each other for 2 days, at which point I decided I was done. That it was time for a divorce. Good. I was furious, and the fact that she was still seeing him and didn't offer to break it up and seriously try to work this out with me told me she was done too. She is done. Take this as a blessing that she's done too, and this is going to try to get you to change your mind and mess with your head. Part ways, move on. Sooner the better. Pull that Band-Aid off. He says, so I called her up and told her we need to meet to discuss some things. I told her I wanted a divorce, and she agreed without any protest. That hurt. We discussed some more things like the house, etc. and the cars. I remained calm as I possibly could, and it was pretty civil. It did hurt that the woman I loved and married really didn't care about our love at all. Guys, from what I've observed in life on this planet, almost 45 years on this planet, with all the stories I do, with all the people I know, I'm absolutely convinced that most women going into marriages are not in any way, shape, or form in love with their guy. They may find things they may like about him. He's Mr. Good Enough. Not Mr. Right. He's Mr. Right at the moment. Mr. Good Enough. I'm getting close to 30. I got to put that ring on my finger. I got to not look like a loser to the other girls out there, or I want to be like my friends that are getting married. And I can always find another guy on the side, because that's the mindset of the times. And they're not in love with this guy. And a lot of the guys think they got it. They hit the jackpot with that pretty girl. No, not at all. She just wanted him to be a Mrs. Somebody because everybody else is doing it, to have somebody help pay the bills, maybe help her want to have a family one day. That's that. I've been to weddings where I could just tell the woman is not in love with the guy at all. I had a friend years ago that married a girl. I absolutely knew through her behavior, her actions, that just being married was more important than being married to him. You think he wanted to hear that? Nope. And guess what? He's in a miserable marriage, and he won't get out of it because he feels bad for their kid. It's really a shame. Anyway, I had to say that. That was on my mind today. He says, I contacted a divorce lawyer that a friend recommended, and think we will divide everything up civilly. We agreed that I get the house, and she doesn't want it. And I love our neighbors. She wants a lot of our furniture and such, which I agreed to, and I don't really care for her. The only thing we can't fully agree on is that she wants her car, but she wants me to pay off the rest, which I do not want to do. I'll be making a thread in personal finances about that one. Well, if him paying off the rest of her car means he gets the house, and in the long term it's a better deal for him, then I would reluctantly do that, okay? If it can make things smooth, it can make things that he doesn't have to pay a whole lot of alimony paying off her freaking car, and he gets the house, that might be in his best interest to do so, but obviously his divorce attorney can give him the best advice. He says, now the issue that plagues me a lot is our friends. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I honestly don't know what to do about that. I don't want to lose any friends because of taking sides, etc. What do you guys suggest? I met with a lot of them, and sometimes it gets awkward due to the divorce. It's going to get awkward, but then again, the ones that are on your side will stay, and the ones that aren't are gone. So he can get rid of people in his life that aren't on his side, so it'll end up well. He says, my dog is staying. And he's been a huge help to me. He has been awesome emotional support. He understands how I feel, and it's amazing. I love him, and he's great at distracting me. Dogs, and for me, cats, are awesome. They love you unconditionally. Now, cats, you better freaking feed them, or they're not going to be very happy with you. But a dog, you could literally not feed, and they'll still stay with you and be loyal. Unbelievable. She tried to make him, even though she wasn't in love with him at all, very happy to do the divorce, still wanted to get rid of the dog. Terrible. What a heartless harpy. Another thing is that my dog and I aren't the only ones in the house now. My 17-year-old brother has been staying with me to keep me company and help me. And I was thinking about inviting him to move in. My dad's retiring soon, and it would make it easier on my parents if he moved in with me. I have no problem supporting him. He and I get along great. Is this a bad idea? It was either that or I was thinking about adopting another dog, or maybe both. I really appreciate your guys' advice in the last thread, as it's helped me out a lot. I'm pretty depressed right now, but I'm happy that I'm doing this now rather than 20 years down the line and I'd have kids and such. So that's the end of his story. I'll read a few comments in a second, but I'm going to say this. Look, at least he's 30, and he recognizes at least he's doing this now than 20 years down the road of a bad, unhappy marriage. And yeah, he could have had kids with her. So thank the Lord, no kids. He's still young. Because they haven't been married that long, hopefully the impact of alimony or anything else will be minimal. And that's that. And if he has to pay for part of her car, pay off her car just to get the house and settle some things quickly, then so be it. I mean, honestly, he shouldn't have to pay a dime because she's cheating, but sadly, it is what it is. Yet another example of the fairness out there in the family courts. But as for his brother, maybe he's lonely right now, wants to have somebody with him, but I don't think having a 17-year-old in his house, unless the kid's really mature for his age, the kid has a part-time job while he's going to school or getting a certification or something, is a good idea because that kid can end up mooching off him. I like the idea that he's there with his dog, maybe adopts another dog. That'd be cool. Him and his 2 dogs, because there's always dogs and cats out there that can use a great home, especially nowadays when a lot of people don't have the money to adopt dogs and cats, and some have to give them up because things are so bad financially. So I say, not with a brother, take the 2 dogs. Now, real quick, a few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says here, I don't really have any divorce advice yet, but I just want to say go for with the adopting the other dog. So many need homes. It sounds like you can provide. Your other dog will love it, and it's a great distraction for you and something to be excited over. Yes. That dog will also represent a new stage in the beginning of you. Best of luck. Yeah, get another dog. Another guy says, it sucks. Emotionally, on a scale of 10, you are going to be 3 after this. Lots of people try dating to heal, and they attract people at the same level. So pulling in family is a much better solution, honestly. But eventually, OP, you're gonna want to date someone else, and a situation where more family at home is going to hinder that too. I suggest any arrangement where family comes in and you establish a time constraint. Hey, can you come live with me for a year? Instead of, hey, can you come live with me? That's not a bad idea. If he goes down that route with the younger brother, hey, let's do this for a year, not indefinitely. Another guy says here, if you have a brother move in, make sure he's going to school or working on not bumming or living arrangement off you. Or he'll be in deep shit when your situation changes. It's really shitty that not only would your wife cheat and lie to you, but she tried to get you to get rid of the dog. Props on losing the girl and gaining the dog. Exactly. So, moral of the story is, guys, always pay attention to your girl. When those things like girls' nights and staying out and all this weird behavior, distant behavior happens, something's going on. And never, under any circumstances, does anybody ever get rid of their best friend, their dog, their cats, even their fish, for anybody, ever. Okay? Why would anybody that could say that, they're out of your life, because they're a heartless piece of shit. Nobody ever. The whole world could come crashing down. I would still have my cats. And for you dog people out there, the whole world come crashing down, you still have your dogs. They are the most loyal, loving companions, more than a freaking woman, that I can tell you. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Let me know. Have you ever, guys, had a situation where a girlfriend or wife pretty much told you it's the dog or her, or the cats or her, something like that? I'd like to hear about that. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.